If you're trying to put out a song a month, like how much creative energy are you putting in that? How good are the songs? You're not writing a crazy amount of songs and picking the best few. You're just kind of writing and put them all out or whatever the case is. Yeah. But whatever works, works. If you're building an audience and they like the music, music is subjective. So
yeah, the market will tell you.
Yeah,
like.
exactly.
They will tell
exactly.
you. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Studio One. I'm here with special guest Evan Sternbach. How you doing? Let's all clap. Clap for Evan. The two people that are here.
Everybody clap. Not everybody at once.
Everyone. How you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, dude. I'm glad you're here. How was your drive over here? I know we were talking a little bit about it. It's a rainy day, dude. It's a rainy
day. My GPS, for some reason, took me back roads I've never been before to Westchester, so... But no, it was good. I'm happy to be here. Great space.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely be coming back soon to do some video content and stuff for sure.
This is an amazing spot. Have you spent a lot of time in Westchester, in the area here?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Westchester. My good friend from high school, or from growing up, actually, he went to Westchester. Yeah. And I had some other friends out here. So I was out here going out, having fun here and there during school. Great area. I love the area.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, this area I love. I didn't grow up here, but like ever since I have a lot of family that are here, so I travel up here all the time. Now I live here, but like I love this area. Like a lot of things happening. It's a very college area.
It is.
Sure.
It's collegey. Yeah. But the demographics pretty. The town itself is cool. There are definitely some areas I've been, like other schools and whatnot, where after you're out of school, you kind of feel weird being in that area a little bit, like going out for a drink or whatever. But Westchester, I think it's very diverse. You can watch a Birds game or watch a Phil's game or something. It doesn't matter what age you are. Oh, yeah. All good.
Dude, it's great. Do you have a spot in here that you really – because, like, I love going to, like, Kildare's. We'll like, watch Union games or, like, whatever games are on kind of in, like, sometimes.
I think my favorite bar is Barnaby's.
Dude, that's a poppin'. Every single weekend.
It's like a maze in there. Every time there's all these little side rooms, different stuff going on, but it's a good time.
I've been in there once. It was great. We went out back. It was a great time. But like every weekend I'm here at night, it's like driving through town, whatever it is, there's lines. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's a poppin' spot.
It's a good time.
It's a hot spot for people here.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. All right, I want to get a little bit of a background of you, Evan. So growing up, where'd you live? Where did you then go to school, high school, college? Give us a little bit of background from that.
So I was born in Jersey. Nice. And when I was young, my family moved out to Lansdale, PA.
Oh, I know where that is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up in Lansdale. I went to school in North Penn High School.
Actually?
Yeah.
My dad teaches there.
Does he really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, he teaches world religions and social studies.
Okay.
Brian Knob.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long has he been
teaches,
there?
Oh, he's been there for like 20 plus years.
Okay.
He teaches juniors and seniors only though.
Okay.
He world religions. I don't know if you would have known.
I don't recall the last name.
I feel like I would have. I need to pull.
If I see a picture,
I'm gonna try to pull a picture as you're talking. It's so funny that you said North Penn because literally he teaches. Yeah. He teaches there.
But I went to North Penn. Graduated in 2019. Just graduated from St. Joe's University last May, 2023. So I've been in this area pretty much, growing up since I was like 4 or 5 years old. Got into music when I was maybe 16, got a guitar for Christmas. And it's just been a slow obsession, eating me alive and building since then, I guess, what is that, 6 years ago now?
Yeah.
6, 7 years ago. So yeah, played sports, grew up. Have my kind of core friend group from the area, and that's where we're at now.
That's dope. When you were playing, I'm literally blanking because I literally have my dad's thing right there. Yeah, let me show it quickly.
I don't recall.
It's right. It's all right. I'd be really curious if he knew your name.
I definitely never had him.
Okay.
I doubt that he knows my name, unless maybe my brother had him at some point.
Maybe.
Or something.
I'll ask him. Okay. I'll ask him about the last name.
Yeah.
But I know what I was going to say now.
Okay.
So you said you picked up a guitar at like 16, right?
Correct.
Is your family musical?
No.
In any sense? Okay.
My family likes music, but nobody really. So actually my cousin, he couple years before I got a guitar, maybe a year before I started kind of hanging out with him, and we'd be at family gatherings and whatnot, and he would break out his Breed Love guitar and just do like a couple funny songs, a couple cover songs at like the Christmas party or whatever, the family gatherings. And I just got like hooked on it. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So then, from that, I think I asked for a guitar for Christmas that following year. Never thought that I was going to start songwriting or singing even. I just wanted to learn fingerstyle stuff so that I could play something and people would recognize the melody from like the radio or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I got out of high school, I think the summer between leaving high school, entering St. Joe's, I started writing. I wrote my first couple songs that summer. Started writing a little bit more that fall from my dorm room.
Yeah.
And then I kind of made the Instagram, made the YouTube, started uploading cover songs. Definitely, I believe, have come a long way as far as my vocal abilities and songwriting abilities and stuff. But it was just a very slow kind of passion that grew over time.
Did you think you were going to be a songwriter and like writing your own songs? Or when you had the guitar, it was like cover songs, it's great, I love the melody, all that kind of stuff, fingerstyle?
I think it was just a hobby at first. And then around the time I got into school, I would just start falling asleep to like YouTube videos of Ed Sheeran in the studio with his loop pedal, J. Cole, like deconstructed videos of him producing in the studio. Those two guys, like Ryan Tedder, One Republic, his stuff in the studio. So I would be just falling asleep on YouTube in my free time, passively listening, just kind of soak in. And I just got more obsessed with it. I started writing more. I saw if you have a lot of success in the industry or in the music business, what you can achieve and like how big you can get, and that people do it for a career, even if you're not like a megastar or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that'd be dope. Like, let's try and do that.
Yeah.
So I kind of developed that outside of my classes in school and everything for the 4 years I was in school.
Yeah. So when you're in school, what were you studying? You didn't study music, correct?
I did not actually. So I minored late in music industry.
Okay.
St. Joe's is not, as far as I'm concerned, a music school by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But I found that they had like a music marketing class, a business of recording music class.
Okay.
I took a couple, and then I was like a couple classes away from the minor. So I was just like, I'll just add it on. I stopped taking Spanish. I was going to double major in Spanish.
Dang.
I just ended up making that a minor and added music industry.
So you had two minors and a major.
Yeah.
Dang,
so
that's a lot.
It wasn't as hard as it sounds.
It sounds a lot.
Especially in the business major.
Yeah.
But it was a fun time for sure. But it was mostly kind of outside of classes, outside of school was the music and the songwriting and stuff.
When was like the point where you're like, with music, like, oh, I really want to pursue this? Was there like a point where it's like, I found that I really am passionate about this? Or was it like, people were like, oh, you're really good at this? Like, what was that kind of point?
There was a meeting that I am going to keep, I guess, I'll do a long story short with it.
Okay.
But I was reached out to by somebody over social media. When was it? 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like spring of 2021. Actually, probably about 3 years ago now. Jeez.
Was this before you even had like a music Instagram and all that stuff?
I was releasing music,
okay.
So I think I had up to the song Ceiling that I have now.
Yes.
Which I believe is the earliest song still on Spotify or wherever for me, because the first two before that were not a good representation of my current musical
we all have
so
those songs.
They had to happen, but they had to be taken down at some point though.
Put them on SoundCloud.
They're on my hard drive on my computer. But I got reached out to and kind of got connected with somebody in the industry that I ended up flying down to Florida for a day with my dad to meet with them and potentially work with them. It didn't work out. But after that meeting and just it was a very, so this person was very kind of honest and, just authentic and supportive, but also realistic. Just from that flight back and, driving home really every day since that meeting, I just, that kind of lit a fire under me. I was like, all right, if I'm putting music out at that point that's this good, and I'm getting reached out to and they're seeing potential or whatever, like imagine what I can do 3 years from now my songwriting's X amount better, my vocals are X amount better. So that's kind of, it's been a driving force for sure.
Yeah. Have you found a group of people that maybe you've been able to like develop with too, or have you been mostly just developing yourself?
Yeah, I would say it's been trial and error.
Yeah.
I've definitely wanted to and do continue to try and build a team around me that helps me. Like I do have a vocal kind of songwriting coach that I meet with weekly right now, remote from Nashville.
Nice.
The producer, I've worked with several different producers, some in person, one actually out here in Westchester area.
Okay.
Several remotes. It's all kind of resulted in pretty solid music that I've been proud of, but nobody that I've just been able to consistently work with kind of song after song and build a chemistry with.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm working on right now. I think that I may have found a couple people
That's dope.
could be a good team, and kind of just adding pieces and interviewing people and seeing kind of what works out moving forward.
Yeah, you got to do that for sure.
Yeah.
That's dope. So do you enjoy more like the studio recorded stuff, or do you enjoy live, or both? Like, what if you had to like choose one over the other more? Would it be like being in the studio writing stuff, or would it be playing live in front of people? You could also say a mix of both. But because I noticed you've been posting a lot more about live stuff recently.
Yeah. So because of who my inspirations in the industry are, particularly the J. Cole's, whoever, Mac Miller, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Before like this newer kind of wave with TikTok and everything of people making a living just from putting out music as a independent recording artist or whatever, those kind of guys and artists traditionally have done the big nationwide international tours and been kind of very, very, strong in their skills live, as well as being able to do the recorded music.
Yeah.
And just be able to do both. So that's, I guess my answer would be a mix of both. They're both important to me. I do think moving forward, being able to connect with people live and in person and build firstly a local kind of Westchester, Collegeville, Philly, whatever surrounding area type audience that'll buy tickets to shows and come out and support is very important. And then being able to translate that to any city that I go to and develop and tour. But also, obviously, 2024, the social media piece, content creation, being able to get in the studio and record songs that are going to translate and people will want to, stream nonstop on Spotify and stuff. So I guess both.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I think there's definitely really cool aspects of both that you can tap in for sure.
Yeah.
What is the farthest place you've traveled for a show?
Not very far.
Not really far?
I started this past summer, I started playing live, and I would just do open mics. I found one every Tuesday night close to where I live that I would just hammer it every Tuesday night. I probably played there.
That's great.
A couple dozen times at this point. And then I would slowly branch out. So I'd go like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I think it's all been in PA, in the Philly area so far.
Yeah.
Wayne, KOP, that kind of thing. For this summer, I am looking to try and get on some of the like smaller, I guess, township type music festivals or summer Fridays and stuff like that, just to sharpen my live playing skill set more, as well as connect with more people and test out different, songs that I'm working on in real time and stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. We had an artist on recently. He was talking about, he took a trip down to Nashville and someone was like pretty much just go home and like build where you're at home.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard that increasingly.
Yeah,
from certain.
And I think
people
that's just like, even you just saying that, it's like, like it is true. Like, you can go to like LA, Nashville, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I think there is something that's very unique about building where you're at.
Sure.
Because like you'll have the same, like if you really seek it, you'll have the same benefit, like the same thing from either end.
Yeah.
Just one's in Nashville, one's in New Jersey or PA.
And I think like there's something to be said about that, because I've had some conversations with people down in Nashville that have mentioned a similar thing from the point of view of like it's kind of like its own economy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like even LA or some of those other music hubs, maybe even other countries, I don't know, New York, but like you just got to make sure you're not falling into the trap of playing in front of your colleagues or your competitors or your peers or just your friends or whatever that you make that are also trying to become artists and producers and whatever, because everybody feeds off each other, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's an environment where you can kind of, you can't take a day off. You have to keep working and bettering yourself and whatnot. But outside of like the Nashville locals, which potentially, in my opinion, maybe are getting a little few and far between because of the transplants and everybody moving down there and everything.
Yeah.
There's less of a just raw, like, music-loving audience that has nothing to do with the industry.
Yeah.
That's there just to enjoy music. So if I'm up here in Philly playing shows or you're in New York City or your hometown or whatever, you play an open mic and somebody likes it, boom, you can show them your social media, show them your Instagram, your Spotify, and next thing you know, they follow, they start coming out to your shows, they're a fan. Just kind of grassroots vibe.
Yeah.
So I think you can do well both ways, but
I think there's something about taking it from the build where you're at kind of thing. Like even like Luke Combs has said that.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's down there. I mean, he's
down there now. But I think the biggest thing is like, I would rather write a bunch of stuff locally here, be like in like building the base here, and then go down to Nashville with like an established base that you'll get way more traction.
Yeah.
Than being like, I'm just gonna try to make my mark down there and really just like either struggle, like you might not struggle, but like having to sacrifice certain things where like here you might not have to sacrifice certain things to still kind of do the same thing that you want to do.
Sure.
Like I think people can definitely make it in areas before they even get down to like the spot where you're supposed to make it. I agree.
And then you're putting it's today. I think today more than ever is you're kind of just starting your own small business. Yeah. And if you have a team, that's great. If you have funding or a way to fund your adventures, that's better than not. It's easier to start a small business where like the demand is there, maybe a little bit less than in Nashville, but like the supply isn't, like I don't really have anybody that's exactly like me up in this area that I'm really trying to fight booking spots for or
that
whatever.
Is true.
Like if I bring a loop pedal out to an open mic, I guarantee you nobody else in the room has seen that day or that week or whatever. So it's just some random restaurant in Westchester or something. So kind of makes you a little unique, makes you stand out a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I'm looking to execute on moving forward.
Yeah, that's great. I want to touch a little bit on your studio stuff. Okay. So your first release came out in 2020. What was that process? Like, how did you feel about that? What was that process of like your emotions of putting out your first song and being like, hey, I'm starting to establish myself? Did you play live stuff before that leading up to this thing? Or was this like almost like your friends were like, oh, I knew you did music, but I didn't know you were writing? Like, was this kind of like...
I mean, this was like I had a lot of people I knew didn't even know that I had started songwriting or doing music or anything, because it was nobody that I was friends with from high school really knew about it until I started posting on social media and stuff. Yeah. And I mean, I guess I'd started making friends at college around this time, so it was new to pretty much everybody. But it was a pandemic, so I came home from St. Joe's on spring break freshman year, and then we just never went back because everything shut down. So it was just a weird time of, I just felt very like comfortable at home. I wasn't missing anything, not being at school. Everybody was home, had no idea what to do, doing nothing. And so I was already kind of starting to write and everything. And I just decided to really dive into it. I became more and more obsessed. Didn't have much else to do outside of my house other than remote classes, which were fairly easy. Yeah. So I was writing a lot, and then one thing kind of naturally transitioned to the next, and I reached out to a local producer, created the first song that I put out with him. We released that in July. Everything was so new, and I felt like I knew what I was doing, and I was like an expert at it, and I'm going to get this many streams after this much time. Yeah. And, I'm submitting to these playlists. Everybody's going to want to listen to it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah. So it was definitely everything that I've done since then, since that first release, and even before that, has been like a learning curve. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I know not to waste my time doing that. Yeah. Or I know I have to double down and get really, really good at this aspect of the release schedule or whatever. So that was kind of, wasn't going into it with any kind of expectations, I think, which is also important. I just kind of, let's have fun, let's put a song out, feel good, and get to the next one. Yeah.
as you're writing songs, what's your inspiration behind them? Is it relationships? Is it just life? What kind of drives you as you write?
It's been a little bit of both, I would say. I try to make my songwriting and my lyrics. I think above everything, the most important thing to me in my songs is the lyricism, as well as kind of the cadence of it. And I take inspiration, like I said, from J. Cole, Ed Sheeran, One Republic, whoever. A lot of that kind of more rhythmic, slightly hip hop influenced kind of pop music is, I think, where my stuff falls or will be falling moving forward. And so I focus on the lyricism, and whatever is in my head that day typically is what will come out in the words. And sometimes it's stuff that I've been thinking about for a long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I kind of intentionally force myself back into a certain situation, or how certain relationships or events in my life felt over the last however many years, and kind of like channel that emotion and that energy and bring that into a song. Sometimes it's something that happened that day, so it really depends. But I just like the artists that I grew up listening to, I do try to make it very kind of singer-songwriter, storytelling, authentic, because I think that resonates the most with the listener.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's awesome. You've put out a bunch of singles and like EPs. Is an album in the works at all?
I hope so. The plan for this year is to roll with singles very consistently, in a greater volume, at a greater clip, just a more frequent clip than I have previously, starting in late spring, early summer, going through hopefully forever, the rest of the year at least, and probably put out like a song every 4 to 6 weeks.
That's great.
I haven't released that knowledge anywhere yet, but there you go.
We hear first now. We're going to keep you accountable now, guys.
Anybody's, But the goal is to develop to a level where it makes sense to put an album out. I just think in today's landscape, being so uncertain in the industry, and how much success people are having with my favorite word, algorithms.
Yeah.
Releasing singles consistently
and
just keep getting in front of people, being top of mind. That's kind of the strategy that I'm going to roll with for a little bit, and see, if I can just stick that out and get some more traction that way. Yeah. And then kind of decide on an EP or an album. Yeah. Honestly, when I first got into songwriting and wanting to put music out around the pandemic or in the pandemic, I always was like, I can't wait to do an album. I can't wait to do an EP. I just want to get a little bit better at songwriting, a little better vocally. That mindset never changes. Like, I feel like if you're a good artist or a developing artist, you never feel like you're good enough or you're at that level. Like, you're always striving to get better. Yeah. But, the music landscape has changed as far as building an audience and stuff. So I got to adapt a little bit. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. I definitely know a lot of, I don't know, but I've seen a lot of artists who have been putting out like a song a month. And it's crazy, but it works. It's kind of like the 10,000 hour rule. It's like, the more you put it out, like if you're making good content, if you're putting out good stuff, there will be an audience for sure. Yeah. So. I think early on when I first started kind of getting sucked into that and subconsciously realizing that's probably what I have to do, I was against it, because I was like, if you're trying to put out a song a month, like how much creative energy are you putting in that? Yeah. How good are the songs? Like, you're not writing a crazy amount of songs and picking the best few. You're just kind of writing and putting them all out, or whatever the case is. But whatever works. Like, if you're building an audience and they like the music is subjective. So can't really complain. Can't really, be too opinionated about it, I guess. Yeah. The market will tell you. Yeah, like. Exactly. They will tell you. For sure. No, that's awesome. Taking a sidestep from music, hobbies. Do you have any fun hobbies that you like to do outside of music, outside of work? Anything that you really you feel like, oh, this is a good time where I can just relax, I can kind of decompress, or like this is just a fun, I like to skydive every week or something like that? Yeah, I do like to skydive every week. No, I'm big into sports. So I played baseball for like a decade growing up. I'm big Phillies fan, big Birds fan, all Philly teams.
Do you see the games a lot?
I do go to the games as
Yeah.
often as possible. I have a couple buddies that live in and directly around the city, and actually one that's moving down right, like 15-minute walk from the stadiums this summer.
Dang.
Or I think in the next couple months. So
That's gonna be
I'll
a
be
good
down
time.
there
Sure.
quite a bit this summer. Go to the gym as much as possible. Kind of, try and be healthy and
Yeah.
feel good physically. And outside of that, I mean, I don't really watch like a ton of TV or movies. I will like sit down. I guess you could say I still am big into like the Marvel movies and
Okay.
the Marvel stuff growing up, and the Harry Potter stuff growing up was kind of my thing.
Your jam.
For sure. With my brother, we would be a little bit obsessed with that stuff. We went to Disney World or Universal, saw like the Harry Potter theme park and everything. But yeah, I mean, I write and I focus on music.
Yeah.
Pretty much every night coming home from work. So decompress a little bit and then pick up my guitar and see what's happening.
You got to do it. Yeah.
Record the content and everything. So
Yeah.
trying to start my small business.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm glad you have a few things you can do outside of music to kind of do that. All right, we are wrapping up, but we have a game.
Okay.
So I have pulled, for my own liberty, I've pulled 3 photos from your Instagram.
Okay.
They're not embarrassing or anything like that. I just want to get your hot takes on them. What was happening in this? I just want to get it from the source.
Word.
So
Okay.
we'll show up on screen. We'll have it.
Okay.
We'll have it pop up for you though. The picture
Nice.
of you at a concert. Who is that? Do you remember?
Let me see that again.
I can bring it up on
that's
Instagram.
Quinn 92. That's at
Dang, you saw Quinn 92?
I went to a concert. I was junior fall at St. Joe's, and it was him, Ty Verdes, and Chelsea Cutler. Ty Verdes was opening up for them,
Yeah.
and it was, I guess they were on a co-bill for their tour.
Yeah.
Quinn and Chelsea, and that was like my first concert that I bought tickets to. That I was like, this is an artist that I like. This is my thing. I'm choosing to go to this concert.
Yeah.
I went to one a couple years earlier. That was like some DJ thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really count that.
Yeah.
It was in the parking lot at Citizens Bank.
Okay.
But this one was like a full-on show.
Yeah.
And it was
looks
phenomenal.
like it.
I still have my screensaver on my phone since like the day after that show is a picture that I took of the crowd with everybody's phones up in the air. I like kind of
with like the flashlights on?
Yeah, the flashlights
That's so
on
dope.
everybody's
Yeah.
phone. And I was like, this is 100% fire. And I'm going to keep this on my screensaver as a motivation to get to this level one day. And that's silently a bucket list item for me, is to sell out that.
Which was this?
What was it called? It was the TD Pavilion at the Mann Center.
Okay.
So it was, I guess, the Mann Center in West Philly.
It looks huge though.
It's
looks
big.
like
There was like, I think 8,000 or 10,000 people
I was gonna
there.
say multiple thousand people here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it had the top balcony. It was a great energy. I went with a couple of friends from school. We were like 15-minute drive Uber from
That's great.
from school down to the show, and great experience, great motivation. Definitely was another kind of solidifying event that made me realize like this is what I want to do for a living if I can help it, or if I was if I can say something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so dope. All right. That was perfect. Next one.
That is my recap from this past year.
Yeah. I was looking through and you made some huge leaps from the, what was that, 2020, your first one I think you posted?
2020, I think the one was the year before.
Gotcha.
The
Okay.
gray one on the second slide. So I should remember that because I only posted that like a couple months ago.
I can pull it up. But that one, what was that look like, seeing like your progress from like, I'm going to pull it up right now and find it again. But
yeah, it was
starting at 6,364 streams. That was in 2021.
okay.
Oh, no, that was just, sorry, you released your song in May. Sorry.
Yeah, I think one of the slides was my previous year.
This one might have been your previous.
Yeah. So the year
Which was
2022.
37.8 thousand streams. And then this year was 130.1 thousand streams.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
So
leap.
I jumped like 100K streams, which I will take for sure at the level that I'm at. I think that I post it at the end of every year. A lot of artists post it just to kind of thank people that are listening and show that I don't have any of this if the people that are following me and supporting me don't, show up and support. And I am 100% grateful for every single stream and every single listener on that page.
Yeah.
I posted kind of to show people like we're on this journey together. Like you're doing this. I'm not listening to my song 130,000 times.
No.
Or my catalog like that. But to show that we're growing, to show that we're kind of on the right path, and that we're in it, as a community, trying to build my little fan base, my, community of supporters that are ride or dies. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're growing that. And I think that's just a testament to the work that I put in a year.
Yeah.
And the support that it receives.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. Those stats are nice. And the last one, just you in the studio. I think that's you. That might be your producer actually.
That's me.
That's you.
That's
okay.
me in the
I was
studio.
it was you.
I was my producer at that point. So
I was
actually
setup.
with a buddy that took that. Who shout out Pat Homo. He we went to Rec Philly. I don't know if you're familiar.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
In Center City. It's a super cool little space. It's
like a creative space,
well.
right? Yeah.
So I think you pay a membership to access the studio, but they have like
I've wanted to get
networking
into
events
it. Yeah.
and all this, ancillary different stuff. And he took me into, I think he had time on like credits or whatever for studio time that month. And he wanted me to come in and just show him different stuff that I was working on. So I ended up recording some stuff and playing around with content. And we got some clips of the song One Way Flight, which was in progress at that time. That is now out. And I believe it's my current most popular song on Spotify.
That's so dope.
But yeah, that was a little in the studio clip.
Yeah. That looks like a nice studio. That's dope. I love that shot. That's such a fire shot. I love that. Sweet. All right. We are wrapping up now. Before we are done, though, I really appreciate you being on this. This has been a fun time.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Socials. How can people follow you? How can people stay in touch with what you got? Give us your username, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so just my name, Evan Sternbach, Sternbach. If you're watching this, you probably know.
We'll put it up. We'll put it up in the links.
I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram is my main platform for sure. TikTok is not, but I'm on there as often as possible. Anywhere you listen to music, Spotify, Apple, and wherever, Amazon, Tidal, wherever else. I got a lot of ideas and different projects that I'm going to be working on content-wise for some different kind of cool videography type stuff alongside the greater volume of music than ever before.
Yeah.
That will be coming out in the summertime this year. So check me out. Feel free to follow along on the journey and stay tuned.
When can we expect new music? Do you have a general time? Give us a date or just a general.
Late spring, early summer.
Okay.
So we're in the studio consistently right now, working on some stuff, and I anticipate toward the very beginning of the summer, maybe like late May, early June time frame is when I will be putting some new music out.
Perfect. Dude, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming
so
on.
much, man.
Dude, this has been fun. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Evan's going to be playing 2 songs for us. So make sure you check them out, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Maybe this is the last time I'll be in your city. Sun beats down on an August afternoon, and baby, it's pretty. But I drive the other way, down Route 3 and through traffic. Windows down, it's fantastic, but you're not shotgun, it's tragic. You're not shotgun, it's tragic. You're not shotgun riding beside me, just to open my eyes.